And hello everyone, Gabe the Izzard here. I am in Mesa, Arizona. I am in the City of Mesa Cemetery. I've been here before, revisiting one grave and visiting a new grave that I did not know was here the first time I was here. They have the sprinklers on, and this place is flooded. Go ahead, tag along. Water is bubbling up, water aplenty, and you can see that the graves are actually underwater. Gonna have a walk along this little raised section. I feel like I'm kind of in like a rice paddy or something walking on this top part, and the water is over all of these graves. I'm almost there. This is the one I was revisiting. Ernesto Miranda died in 1976. He was the person that took his case to the Supreme Court, saying that he did not understand that he could remain silent and not answer police questions. That's where we have the Miranda rights, which is also your right to remain silent, right to an attorney, that stuff. But it is here under just a little bit of water in this flooded area. It's almost like a river right here. Water's flowing through. And now I've arrived at the second grave that I came to see, and that is the grave of Waylon Jennings. He died 64 years old in February of 2002. Waylon was actually in Buddy Holly's band and gave up his seat whenever the plane crashed in Iowa. He could have been gone with those guys, the Big Bopper, Richie Valens, but he had given up his seat, so he actually got to live to 2002. He became a part of the outlaw country guys like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash. There he is, Waylon Jennings. He died in Chandler, Arizona. He had some ties here. He was actually like a radio DJ in Phoenix. Now he's laid to rest here in Mesa, Arizona. Right there. You can sort of make out his face right there. And then he has his logo right here with some guitar picks. A vagabond dreamer. A rhymer and singer of songs. A revolutionary in country music. Beloved by the world. Not to mention, he wrote the best theme song in the entire world for the Dukes of Hazzard. The last time I came out here, there were a lot more trees. I think that they either fell or they dug them up and replaced them with these new ones. But they'll end up looking like these larger ones. But it was a lot shadier out here the last time I came. Waylon's just 4 rows in off of 9th Street here in the cemetery. There's the rental. A Challenger, just like the Dukes of Hazzard. In just a short drive, about a mile or so away, I came to the site of the old Fort Utah, which is a Mormon settlement that was founded around 1877. And they sought refuge here from Apache Indians. And I would love to ring that bell They would ring the bell during warnings of flooding because we are in a very low-lying area. And this is where the settlements were. We're right here. So you get right around this is settlements. This area was known as Lehi, and this is actually still a Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints church. Visitors are welcome, but there's not a doorknob on the door. And right across the street from the Mormon settlement is the Mesa Historical Museum, and I'm about to go into it and get a little history of the city of Mesa. Prominent citizens Ted and Alice Sliger were digging a well, and they found thermal hot springs, 112 degrees coming out, so they formed the Buckhorn Baths, which was used by the New York Giants and the Chicago Cubs for their spring training, along with quite a few other notable people. They would come and take baths and rejuvenate themselves. Here are some signed balls gifted to the Sligers, including Willie Mays. Ted Sliger was an avid sportsman and hunter, and he also was a taxidermist and made some cool furniture like this. Ted passed away in 1984, but she ran the baths until 1999 and kept her hotel running for another 8 years and died at 101 years old. The baths have changed hands many times since Alice's death and now are defunct. An aerial view of the bathhouse and cottage. Many immigrants came here, including Japanese, Mexicans, and Black, Chinese, Lebanese. Mesa is a mixing bowl of people. As I mentioned, the area that I'm in right now is called Lehigh, which was formed by the Mormons. In 1878, the Mesa Company arrived and moved up on the mesa where the cemetery is. And in 1970, this area, Lehigh, was incorporated into Mesa, but is still known as Lehi, which is named after a Mormon prophet, Hebrew for jawbone or cheek. Ladies were very petite back in those days. Could spin some jams on this Victrola phonograph, circa 1904. This room has lots of artifacts from natives and early settlers, including this really cool carriage, which is called a auto seat because it had a fancier seat, like in an automobile. Before they were spilling jams on that phonograph, they were spitting out jams on this organ. Some cowboy items, leather, blacksmithing. There were people here in this area from about 2,000 years ago. It's a low-lying area, easy access to water. Time progresses and we get a little more modern. including the Nile Theater. As I mentioned, there's lots of baseball teams that come here for spring training, including the Oakland A's, Chicago Cubs, Anaheim Angels, and the Seattle Mariners. Here's Anaheim Angels, or California Angels then, helmet signed by Reggie Jackson. He was also an A, and an Oriole, and a Yankee. And during World War II, whenever the Japanese became, or put into internment camps, they still had baseball. And who is a champion of their baseball? Babe Ruth. There's a room dedicated to the art of Karen Kuykendall. She's got some pretty far out stuff. She was born in Colorado, grew up in California, and then moved to this area. But she's got some pretty wild stuff. It's cool. The Blue Rider. Karen. She had a thing about cats, and she made a book about tarot cards for cat people. And the final room is the Cactus League Hall of Fame, which actually has a plaque for Ted and Alice Sliger. It was formed in 2014. Well, that was pretty much all of the museum. It was pretty cool. If you're a baseball fan, it would definitely be cool to go to. It's $7. Gives you a little bit of history of the founding of Mesa and, you know, why it's famous. Baseball. I'm gonna go on to the next thing, whatever that might be. They do have some pretty cool cacti here. Some farming utensils, and this replica schoolhouse with another bell that I can't ring. Old farming implement. Peek in this window here. Old schoolhouse. See if I can go in there. Here's the John. I was able to walk into the schoolhouse. Pretty cool, literally and figuratively. Well, after reading this little information placard, this was the school in 1917. Notice the little architecture there as I scoot outside. That's it. The old school. They have class photos, and I can say that it seemed like they all had the same barber. Board of Education. This is Mary Ursula Zulu Pomeroy, Mesa's first school teacher. Well, I made my way over to the Temple Visitor Center, which is the Mormon temple, which is behind me over here. I'm going to cross the street here and go to Pioneer Park. I just went into the visitor center. It's cool. There's a lot of information. There's lots of people in there to help you answer any questions you might have about Mormonism or the temple itself. I didn't want to film in there because it just didn't seem right, but they're really friendly, and it gives you a lot to think about as far as who you want to be as a person, more Christ-like, which there's nothing wrong with that, no matter who you are or what you believe. Being Christ-like was good. So I'm going to cross the street here, go to the park, and then I'm going to kind of go over to the temple grounds. Here's a monument for the pioneers of Mesa. And the Mormons do kind of keep the pioneer spirit alive, because all Mormons were basically pioneers. They headed west across the United States. They eventually ended up in Salt Lake City in Utah, but they also have a big missionary work, so they're always traveling to different parts of the world, which is, you know, keeping that pioneer spirit. I don't really know a whole bunch about the Mormon religion. I know that Joseph Smith was kind of their founder. Brigham Young was their main guy that kind of pushed across the United States. They all seem to be really good people. I don't know much about their teachings, but everyone that I ever encounter is very nice and pleasant to be around. But I have no idea really about their religious teachings. I know they're Christians. That's about it. Here at the far end of the park is a splash pad and a playground right over there for the children. This splash pad is open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. That's pretty nice, and that water is cool. This is a wonderful playground. Super cool. And I believe it's an all-inclusive because it has a ramp that you can go up, and then on that slide right there. I'm gonna go down the big slide right over there. I am about to climb up this and go down this slide that has 1, 2, 3, 4 spirals. I am way up here. I had to crawl on my hands and knees. I'm a little out of breath, but I'm about to go down this thing. Oh my God. Holy crap, it's so fast. Oh, the skin. Yikes. Oh. Static. And right behind this playground is a huge locomotive that you can go walk up to right there. You cannot climb on it. It's been here since 1958. This locomotive was built in 1912. It came here on its own power. They built rails, and it's been in the park ever since. Somebody's thrown garbage in here, but this is really cool. One final look at engine 2355 of the Southern Pacific. Directly across the street from the park is the temple. I'm going to walk over there, see how close I can get. Approaching the temple, it looks like the gates are open. The visitor center is right there, and the park is right there, all for a visual of the area. They have a nice little gardens out in the front, lots of shade, and this kind of cool reflecting pool. And I am inside the gates right now. Not a bad view. On the side of the temple, it is adorned by pioneer emblems. The pioneer spirit is everywhere. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little day here in Mesa, Arizona. Basically founded by the Mormons. And they got a nice little oasis here on the Mesa. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.